Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to my review of The Flash Season 3. So far I have done Legends Season 2 and the most recent one I did was Arrow Season 5, but for this one I wanted to take a couple of weeks. I feel like with Arrow I was so excited about it, I just had to talk about it as soon as I watched the finale, but with The Flash I needed some time because I just wanted to let that season sink in before I said anything about it because I wasn't really sure what I thought about it. And to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure what I actually do think about The Flash Season 3. I mean, we're gonna give it a go. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That and I have nothing better to do with my life, but there you are. Now, for me, Season 1 and Season 2, when it came out, it was the best show on TV. Bold statement to make? Yes, but in my humble opinion, I just fucking loved it. It had everything. It had heart, it had humor, it felt like a comic book show, it could be dark, it could be emotional. It's quite a roller coaster ride of a show. So going into Season 3, especially after the cliffhanger on Season 2, you think, what the fuck are they gonna do? Turns out give us a properly average season. Now, my main issue with The Flash this year is I feel it had a complete and utter lack of focus. There was just too many things in this season, too many threads, too many story ideas, too many things just going on that I feel it really bogged this season down. You have Flashpoint, you have Dr. Alchemy, you have Kid Flash, you have the Philosopher's Stone, you have Savitar trying to change the future, you have Iris dying. There's just too much going on, and I feel if you take away a lot of those elements, they could really just focus this season up and it would have been a lot better. The fact that Flashpoint was just one episode, which to be honest I wasn't surprised by because there are limitations. You do have to think about other shows in the universe, but at the same time that could have been an entire arc of the season, and yet they just fixed it in an episode, and they wasted a lot of potential with that as well. Dr. Alchemy I don't think really needed to be a thing. The Philosopher's Stone just turned out to be whatever the plot needs it to be. Savitar, as cool as he was, his identity, not only predictable, was revealed way too late in the season. And it's just stuff like that I just feel this season had so much anticipation behind it and so many great ideas in there. There's just too many. You just can't do all of those things in one season. Well, you can, as it proved, but you just can't do them well. Or Wells. HR Wells. Oh, I mean, that was a shitty pun, but it is a nice segue. HR is another example of something that they introduced in this season, similar to the Philosopher's Stone, that just didn't really need to be there, except when the plot needed it. He's just fucking useless. Like, there is no need for him whatsoever. Sure, admittedly, his character does grow a little bit throughout the season, but he has this face-changing technology that they introduced randomly early on in the season. And you think, yeah, alright. Great. Then later on in the season, you have Barry and you have Captain Cold trying to infiltrate Argus, and they use that same technology again to disguise themselves as Lila, which is obviously making sure that you remember that because they're going to bring it back into the finale for that thing. They're going to remind you of it. Don't worry. Which was another problem of this season. It was just so fucking predictable. Like with when they're infiltrating Argus, people probably forgot that HR had that face-changing technology. So there's so many different things, and they give you these little breadcrumbs, but they're not breadcrumbs. They're just massive fucking baguettes, and it's so fucking obvious what it's gonna turn out to be. Let's be honest, all over the forums, everyone was saying, I bet Savitar's a future time remnant of Barry. Exactly what he was. I bet HR takes Iris's place at the end. They do like the old switcheroo. Exactly what fucking happened. Now, I'm not saying that things in Season 1 and Season 2 weren't flawless or anything. Like no other, flawless, absolutely flawless. That needs to just fucking stop. I don't even know where it's coming from at this point. Anyway, getting back to the point, there were twists and turns. Some of them predictable, yes, but a lot of them they weren't. But with this, I felt like I knew everything that was going to happen before it even happened, and that's kind of a shame. But going back to Savitar and about him being the time remnant of Barry, yeah, that's great. It was very predictable, sure, but it was a nice twist. Well, not twist, because it's not a twist if people see it. You know what I mean, though? It was a nice way to do things. The only issue is, I feel they introduced him or revealed who he actually was way too late in the season. It was like, what, episode 19, 20? Something like that. So you have a few episodes of us knowing for sure who Savitar is and the team knowing for sure who Savitar is. I feel like we needed to introduce him as the time remnant Barry a lot sooner, so you could have done a lot more with him as a character, because frankly Grant Gustin was brilliant as evil Barry. I mean, he's great as normal Barry, but I'm just saying, I just wish we had more of him, and I feel like he was another wasted opportunity like a lot of this season was. Plus, I don't understand why he didn't kill Iris sooner. There's all that stuff where he's saying about his ascension ascension and becoming a god and all this stuff. But you just think, well, why don't you kill her when you're right in front of her? Just kill her then. Why'd you have to wait till this specific point in time to do it? Well, you could say, oh, well, he's potentially messing up the timeline. And I guess, and I can see that argument, but at the same time, the Flash that we're watching now is from an alternate timeline. Like, this isn't the original timeline in the universe, and I'm not even referring to Flashpoint. The Flash didn't become the Flash until 2020, but oh look, Eobard Thawne, he's fucked up. He fast forwards the timeline. So clearly that shit doesn't matter. As long as the events that are supposed to happen take place at some point, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Speaking of Iris, I'm pretty sure people want me to talk about the whole West Allen thing. Lots of people seem to hate the ship thing. I mean, the term ship, I mean, it's a fucking boat, right? A ship, that's what a ship is. A ship is not two people in love. That's called a relationship. I know people are too lazy to say full-on fucking words nowadays, but it's a relationship. If you're shipping people together, that means you're wrapping them up in fucking cardboard and putting them on a friggin' boat. That stuff really winds me up. I don't even know why. Where was I? Oh yeah, West Allen. Yeah, that thing, it doesn't really bother me as much as it seems to bother other people. I feel like Elicity is 1,000 times worse. But I do agree that a lot of the focus on this season was on Iris, and I think rightly so, because she is so important to Barry, but I feel you could have toned it down a lot more. Not every episode has to say, we need to save Iris. Like, yeah, I get that's the overall arc of the season, but you could not always focus on it as much as you do. Was I surprised that she didn't die? Well, no, because Barry would probably run back in time and fuck up the timeline again anyway, so the thing that bothered me more this season was actually Cisco, at least initially anyway, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on this, because Cisco, for the first few episodes, probably until the end of the crossover, was just a complete and utter little shit. He just became so unbearable, and I understand his reasoning because his brother is dead in this new timeline that Barry has created. But the thing is, look, I know it's his brother, but he didn't see his brother anyway. He didn't even like his brother. I don't understand why it is such a massive deal and why he is just throwing little digs every single 5 fucking seconds towards Barry. It really pissed me off. I understood what Barry did. Oliver put it perfectly. In fact, Oliver in the crossover was the only rational human in that room. When Barry's saying, like, oh yeah, you just go without me. Rightly so, Oliver's like, hey, this is crazy. I'm not going without him. And then later on when he says, anyone in your position, they would have done exactly what you did. Especially the Legends. Why the fuck are they having a go at Barry? What he did is nothing compared to what they do week in, week out. Yeah, Cisco was completely unjustified, and like I say, he gets better. Around episode 9, I was like, yeah, okay, Cisco's cool again. The thing that I actually really loved this season was Caitlin. I know I've gone on about a lot and I've slated a lot, but Caitlin this season was probably the main thing that I actually properly enjoyed watching and truly loved. Now, seasons 1 and 2, obviously she is quite an important character, but she isn't really given too much to do. It feels like in season 1, she's just trying to get over the loss of Ronnie. In season 2, you see her falling in love with Jay Garrick, and then it goes tits up, and then she's trying to come to terms with that. This season, because of Flashpoint, Caitlin Snow is finally Killer Frost, eventually. Well, she has her powers anyway. Especially when you bring in people like Julian, you don't really need Caitlin anymore, so just have her as Killer Frost. I mean, her motives were really fucking bizarre. All of a sudden, it's just like, well, I hate you now. Why? Well, frost powers. Alright. I mean, that's not the dumbest thing about this season, let's be honest. But I really enjoyed it, and I especially liked in the finale where she was just like, I'm not Killer Frost, I'm not Caitlin. I don't know who I am now. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. Another thing that I thought was great was Wally West. And now, I know a lot of people don't really like Wally, but I think they didn't really do enough with him. And given how the finale went, I'm hoping that that's the reason why. I'm hoping that now that Barry is in the Speed Force, they don't do another Flashpoint. They don't just resolve it in episode 1. I hope at the very earliest we get Barry back at the end of episode 9. I know Barry is the star of the show, but at the end of the day, Wally is this new character. He's the new Flash. We're gonna miss Barry in the crossover. It's gonna be Wally now, and given how I assume they're going to do another 4-part crossover, and given how both Kara and Oliver have quite a close relationship with Barry, I think it's gonna be a really interesting dynamic to see how Oliver, Supergirl, the Legends, the Team Flash itself having to deal with Wally West as the Flash as opposed to Barry. His suit's pretty fucking cool as well. Oh yeah, the musical episode. That's all I have to say about that. I feel like I have been quite harsh, and I feel like I have said quite a few bad things about it, but overall, it's not a terrible season by any means. It is enjoyable, it's just overly complicated, it isn't focused enough, there's too much going on, and I just feel like whilst there is greatness within this season, it just doesn't live up to what seasons 1 and 2 were. You know, Grant Gustin killed it, he was great, Caitlin was great, Wally was great, Savitar as a design, brilliant, but I am curious to see where they're going to go in season 4, because I am worried that they're going to take the same trend that they did with Arrow, where seasons 1 and 2 were great, season 3 was not as good, and then season 4 turned out to be really, really fucking shit. Oh, my rating. I forgot about my rating. Decent out of 10. Definitely a step down, but you know, maybe I'll get better. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you on the fence about it like me? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you leave a like on it. That would be very much appreciated. And you want to see more stuff like this on my channel, because Supergirl, that's the last one I've got to do. That'll be coming next. So if you want to see that and all the other stuff that'll end up on my channel, then subscribe. And if you do, I would love you forever. Maybe I'll keep on running home to you as well. Oh, why do I remind myself of it? Like, it was, oh no. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. But going back to Savitar and people saying, oh, I bet he's a time remnant of Barry? I hope the camera picked that up. I really do.